If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. It's one of the only ways now that the politicians and the media are gone that we can shine a light on our little town of East Palestine. And consider joining our Facebook group, East Palestine Off the Rails. Get the truth from people who live here. Thank you so much. You know, some people think we're crazy on the Facebook group Off the Rails. They resign to the fact that everything is fine. If everything is fine means multicolored chemicals coursing through the creek that runs through town, then that's okay. If everything is fine means the EPA has admitted to me that they're releasing high levels of butyl acrylate while they're digging up the crash site while people are still living there, then that's good. It is 8 weeks since the crash and burn, and the EPA has still not tested our well. Sulphur Run runs right through town, joins Leslie Run in town, and then Leslie Run runs down into Negley. And I'm on the top of the hill above Negley. Their wells are 40 to 50 feet deep. Some of them are as shallow as 30. My well is 260 feet deep. We are 200 feet above them, and it brings my well down to the level of all of their wells. Okay, so this is the roadhouse that we're coming up on. There's a Luke Bryan. Wow, you can see all the cars. And they're giving away water filter systems. So there's the guy from Yellowstone is here. Somebody with 4 water purifiers. I'm gonna stop in and see if I can get one, but they might be all gone. People are leaving with multiples. So we will see if I can get one. I'm not really concerned about seeing that guy. Just want to get a water filter system. So this is the roadhouse. There's a bunch of people here. And let's see if they're still giving away water filter systems. They still giving away water filters?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that?
That's my doctor.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing, doctor?
Thank you. Yep. Oh, was that guy here? that guy? My wife. Oh, he's up there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That guy is giving away Jeff Ruby. He gave away. Oh, he's giving away
Luke
water
Bryan.
filters. Okay.
Oh
Yeah,
my
from
God,
Yellowstone,
he's
right?
beautiful. Look. I got my Yellowstone shirt on. He's beautiful. I like him up
That's
here.
why I'm in line.
Well,
What for Luke Bryan? Okay.
My mother
Yeah.
wants a picture of it.
That's the guy that plays the son, right?
Yeah.
In
the
Yellowstone.
youngest son.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we all
My
know
wife
that.
loves it.
Yeah.
But it's raining and she didn't want to come, so I got a water filter.
Well, I've got to get one for the woman at the marathon. She wanted a one.
Oh, okay. Well,
I already have one.
this is nice to see. And I am getting soaked.
To a motel on Saturdays, and I wash my hair and everything.
Oh, so you're not in town?
Yeah, I live right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, I don't think so.
Really? Wow.
Will not do it.
Can I take you saying that?
Yeah.
You don't take a shower?
I don't take a shower or nothing while I'm here. We go on weekends to the motel,
Wow.
and I clean then
So it's all bottled. How do you wash your dishes? Do you wash your dishes?
with gallon water, gallon jugs.
Wow. And so you live right near the creek?
I live right across here.
Wow. And that whole creek is filled with chemicals right there. Yeah, I know that.
You done awesome the other day, I must tell
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you.
Everybody's been bragging
Hey.
on the doctor.
I'm going to hang around for a bit, then I'll give you my umbrella.
Oh, you're okay.
No. You're going to get soaked.
But yeah, everybody brags about the doctor over there the other day.
Oh, well, thank you.
You done great.
I don't mean to do it. The only reason I'm doing it is because of what's going on here. All right, well, I got to get to work. And here, you can have this. Take that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
All
honey.
right, take care. Hey. Just came to see what was going on. Hey, you here to see your boy?
Sure am.
Yeah. So this is why I'm always late for work.
Hey, I got my back popped last night.
How'd you do it?
I was laying there in bed, woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning and rolled over and snapped.
See, I loosened it up for you.
Yeah, you did.
So this is the Roadhouse where they held the Steve Bannon War Room.
Well, I just stopped at the Roadhouse because Luke Bryan was there from Yellowstone, and he's a singer. He gave away $100,000 to the town, which is really nice. There's a place called Ruby's Steakhouse, and they have given away, I believe, $50,000 to this point, and they were giving away free water filters for your home. Back to what I was talking about. I would never treat a patient without doing proper tests first. Proper diagnosis. It's been 8 weeks and our well hasn't been tested. Here you can see, I don't know if this is Norfolk Southern drilling a well. There was some big well driller that drilled a hole right into the road right there. But people here are screaming to have their soil tested. I personally don't know anybody that has had their soil tested yet. I do know that our soil from the crash site was rejected from the state of Indiana because the dioxin levels read 700 points per trillion, and normal is like 4 parts per trillion. So the 2 samples that they took of the dirt that was being delivered to them showed up 700 parts per trillion. Just over 1,000 points per trillion is the reason they condemned the entire city of Times Beach, Missouri, and we are at 700 at the crash site. You know what happened to that dirt that was on the trucks? I heard this early because a trucker friend of mine knows a trucker that was trucking dirt to Indiana. They turned them right around, sent them their marching orders, and sent the dirt back here, where not only did it sit uncovered, rained and snowed on, leaching more chemicals and dioxins presumably into our soil, and the creek runs right adjacent to those piles that runs through town and down into Negley, Ohio. They sent that dirt back, and it stood uncovered until public fervor made them cover it. But now the tarps are half off and half on. You know what happens anyway when you cover up wet stuff with the tarp. It remains wet. You hold the moisture inside. So I don't know how much good that did anyway to cover them up after everything was already soaked. But back to testing. We've fatigued, and a lot of the town, even though there are so many chemicals visible in our creek, and I contend that there are a lot of chemicals that we do not see that came from the burn. I just think they're getting tired, and I think businesses are scared as well, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I agree with them. The whole thing is horrible. It should have never happened. We're all just people trying to get through life and make a living. But I think you get tired and you get complacent and you accept that there's chemicals in the creek. And I keep referring to the chemicals in the creek because that is visibly what we can see. And if it's bad enough that we can see it, what deadly chemicals are in the soil and on the ground and everywhere else and coming into our homes as we heat our homes and pull the air in? When you get complacent, you accept things. And I honestly believe the think tank that I talked about earlier, they have it timed out just perfectly. They know when we will tire. They've been through this before many, many times. They know when the townspeople will start fighting each other. They know when individuals in their own families and brothers and sisters will start fighting each other because everybody has different points of view. I welcome all points of view. I will not change how I feel about the whole situation. Do I believe there were dioxins and many chemicals created during the burn-off? Yes. Prove me wrong. Do testing and team up with Dr. Andrew Welton from Purdue University, who states that the EPA is not looking for the proper things. Should we trust the EPA? The cleanup crew at 9/11 trusted them. If they cannot tell that there was asbestos in the rubble, along with many, many other kind of chemicals that caused long-term cancers, health problems, many of the same things that we're suffering from now. Upper respiratory problems, GI problems, blisters in the mouth, mucous membrane problems, headaches. If they can't tell that there was simple asbestos in the rubble, I mean, I would think that would be one of the most rudimentary things that you could tell. Then how are we to trust them now? And lastly, something that served myself and my patients well over the years. I've seen so many patients rejected by other doctors, labeled hypochondriacs, or it's all in your head. And then I've ran tests and found out that they actually have a condition. Do you know the saying, just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get me? You know, you have a whole range of personalities when you treat patients. Some are actually absolutely straightforward, some ignore their problems, some over amplify their problems. There's a range. But you always have to kind of put that aside, the patient's personality, and assess what they're telling you and to take everyone serious. When they don't even do testing, then how are we to feel comfortable? When they don't do testing and they don't do the proper testing and they hire a company, CTEH, that is dubious at best with their track record, look into it. How are we supposed to feel safe? It's difficult for me to comprehend how people accept that we're safe when there's no testing done and there's not adequate testing. And I'm not saying there isn't some testing done. There has been some testing. They haven't tested my place. They haven't tested hundreds of people's places. They haven't done any soil testing around me. They haven't done any soil testing of anyone I know. Everyone that comes up and talks to me says there's no soil testing done. They haven't tested furnace filters. They haven't tested water. They haven't tested our wells. All I know is 8 weeks out, and there are hundreds of people just like me that have not had their wells tested. To discount somebody's symptoms that they're having as well is very arrogant. Someone may smoke cigarettes for 50 years and live till 99 years old. Someone may smoke cigarettes for a year in their early 20s and it may kill them 20 years later. Everybody reacts different to chemical exposure. And I'm certain that's what's happening here. The people that are more sensitive, are we the canaries in the coal mine for this area? In my first few interviews on the national news, when they asked me how I was feeling, I said, I feel fine. I feel just as I did before the accident. That is until I played in the creek and filmed in the creek with my rubber boots. And at first I was going with no respirator. And as I would bend over the creek, I would breathe those chemicals in. And even having lost about 80% of my smell to COVID 2 years ago, I could smell these chemicals. And I got very ill afterward. All right, I'll continue this in a bit. Got to go to work.